He's 1/3 of Culture Clash, and he's just about to undertake a very dramatic scene, a play. It's called Placas, the Most Dangerous Tattoo. It's playing in San Francisco. Ric Salinas is with me here on Comunidad del Valle. You play the role as Fausto.
Yes, Damien.
We'll talk about Placas in just a bit, but you were on the show about 8 years ago with the other two guys, and with Herbert, and let me show you a clip of this is your performance at the Rep, and I just think it's one of the hysterical ones. I mean, there were so many of them, but here's a clip from San Jose Rep a while back.
On the fourth day, God was riding around Harlem in a gypsy cab when he created the people, don't you know? And he saw the people lonely, and he saw the people hungry, and from his eminence rectum, he created a companion for these people, and he called that companion capitalism. The Genesis, according to Miguelito Piñero. Word. And when Ponce de Leon looked upon the Caribbean islands, he said, Vale, vale, que Puerto Rico. And when the first Puerto Rican brother landed on the shores of New York City, he said, damn, it's cold, bro.
I mean, it's just hilarious. You guys, when you're doing your script writing and whatnot, I mean, who decides what, or each one has their own skits? I mean,
It's the guy who yells the loudest.
Also, when you were here last, you were kind of showing us how it is that Latinos, how they dance.
Yeah, the difference. There is a difference. See, a lot of people don't know. They think Latinos, we're all from the same place, but when it comes to dancing, that's how you could tell us apart. And I always say when a Mexicano dances salsa, it's because he flaps his arms when he's there. And a Puerto Rican, when he dances salsa, it's like he's thinking, did I leave the iron on? Because he's so serious about it. And I go through the whole, what I call the rainbow of brown, the way Cubanos dance, the way Dominicans dance, the way Salvadoreños dance, and it's a comedic piece, but there's some reality to it.
Are you guys trying, probably both, trying to make obviously the audience laugh and maybe go home and think politically and culturally maybe at the same time?
Yes, I think that's what we started out from the very beginning. It wasn't just, maybe at first when we were young writers, we were doing whatever funny joke came out, and sometimes it wasn't smart and wasn't tasteful. But as we, matured as writers, we felt that if we did humor, it had to have a message. You had to go home with something. And you might be laughing at something, but all of a sudden they're going, wait a minute, I'm laughing at something that's a heavy subject. It's about racism. And so we've always had that as our mantra.
And I mean, when you're not performing on stage with Richard and with Herbert, I mean, like right now, Richard is filming a movie right here in San Francisco called SF Noir. So you all do your own gigs here and there?
Yeah, we started out in 1984 in the Mission District. And, it's 28 years of doing work nonstop together. Wow. I mean, we're like the Latino Aerosmith, and at some point, we get our like private time. And right now we got our little moments where we're doing our individual work. Herbert actually did a play about Picasso, Pablo Picasso, and it was a one-man show. And Richard's doing some filming. He actually shot his play called Water and Power that we did here at Teatro Visión. And he's making it into a movie. And I was in San Francisco last year, and I directed a show for Teatro Zenzani, which is kind of a Cirque du Soleil type of show. I had to direct about 18 people. And so I did that, and now I come back to my place of birth in terms of where Culture Clash started, the Mission District. We're rehearsing there to do the play Placas. So we get to do our individual work,
Well, yeah, and I mean, this is performing September 6th through the 16th. You sent us some images here, and it's about Placas, your Placas, correct?
Yeah, Placas means tattoo. It also means Placas when you put your name, like if somebody's called El Shorty, El Snoopy, that's his Placazo. But this play, we're calling it The Dangerous Tattoo, is because it's affiliated with the gangs and the gang culture with tattoos. It's a very, very serious thing. Once you put a tattoo on that represents what neighborhood you're in, then you're part of that neighborhood. And if you cross that line or that boundary, you're in trouble. And so a lot of youth are involved in this, especially in any neighborhood, really, in big cities, whether it's San Jose or the Mission District. So this play is really a play about redemption. It's about a father who has been in the gang life most of his life, but now he wants to change. He wants to shed his tattoos. So it's about tattoo removal, which is a very real thing that's happening in a lot of clinics. And Carecen, who's sponsoring this, it's the Central American Resource Center, they're showing that you could get tattoo removal and you could start a new life. And so this father, portrayed by me, Placas, Fausto, tries to school his son to get out of the gangs. And it's a very difficult thing to do. Once you're involved in the gang, it's very difficult to get out of it.
So many families going through that right now in the Mission, in San Jose, and everywhere else. But Placas is showing in San Francisco with Ric Salinas, September 6th to the 16th. There it is, information on your screen. We'll be back and talk more about this play when we continue. Stay with us. We're back with Ric Salinas of Culture Clash here on Comunidad del Valle and his new play, Placas, playing out in San Francisco. And this is kind of you're, not that you're reliving your personal experience, but you've been shot at in the Mission.
Yes, I was part of the gang violence that occurs in any inner city. And unfortunately, I was trying to break up a fight, and somebody pulled out a sawed-off shotgun and shot me. And luckily I survived. I wasn't supposed to survive. San Francisco General Hospital was 5 minutes away, and they gave me a second chance in life. And so I know what that means to be out in the streets and the danger of that. And it's unfortunate because it's only the very few that ruin it for a lot. And so this play is about the Salvadorian culture. It's the first play really that deals with that, because the Salvadorian gangs do exist. They are, you know, next to La M, the Mexican mafia gangs, they do exist. But it's only one aspect of the Salvadorian culture, because, you know, a lot of people are going to say, why are you doing a play about the gangs, you know? But they exist, and a lot of them are people who are lost, people that need guidance and help. And so, you know, a lot of people are going to say, well, then why don't you do a play about lawyers or doctors? They exist, but sometimes we cannot neglect what we see there. Even with Culture Clash, a lot of times we do jokes and we call ourselves EOO, Equal Opportunity Offenders. You got to offend everybody or else you're not part of the culture.
Well, that's, I mean, that's, it's amazing how you are able to send maybe a political or a philosophical message or whatnot just through theater. I mean, theater is such a powerful tool.
Well, that's the main thing, and I got to give credit to Paul Flores, who is the playwright, and the director, Michael Garces. We're going to put this piece on stage, and it's an art piece. It's art, so people could sit back and see a life that they might want to turn their, you know, look away from, or that they don't know about. But with art, you can transcend and teach and inspire, and if anything, it brings up dialogue in the audience. You know, they might not agree with everything they see, but at least it brings up dialogue, and with dialogue, you get more of an understanding.
In speaking with several people and doing news reports about removing your unwanted tattoos, maybe critics will say one thing is removing the physical aspect of the tattoo. If you don't change what's in your corazón, then it's kind of de nada sirve que te quites
de nada. No,
placa.
it's true. You got to, along with the tattoo removal, there's education, and that's why there's a lot of counseling that's involved with that. You can't just remove that and change. You have to change within yourself. And I think it's possible if people give people that second chance.
Is this one of those roles where you said, yeah, I have to do it?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Culture Clash is considered a Chicano group. And the reason it's called a Chicano group is we use Chicano iconography, whether it's the murals, the language, the imagery. But I was born in El Salvador, and I always say that I'm Chicano through osmosis, because I grew up with Chicanos, right? I mean, when I was growing up, I would say that I was from El Salvador, and my teachers thought that I was, you know, I'd say Salvador, Central America, they thought I was from Kansas, you know, because nobody knew where El Salvador was. But, you know, they told me about this play. I read it, and I go, it's about a Salvadorian dad, and I'm from El Salvador, and it's about teaching a son redemption, and I said I got to be part of it. And so I was very lucky, very fortunate to be. It's never been done, so it's going to be the world premiere.
I don't want to oversell it, but could this be life-changing maybe for a chavalito or a parent in the audience?
Yes, I absolutely think that if there's somebody that's going through a similar process and they see themselves reflected on stage, it is life-changing. We've done plays and we've done comedy, and I'll never forget that we did a whole thing about the Navy and about the military. We did it in a comedy way, you know, in satire. And a young guy, I remember, said, you know what, I was going to enlist, you know, to the Army. And nothing against people who are our troops, you know, but he said, you know what, after I saw what you did, I'm going to think twice before I enlist.
Wow.
And it was just because they saw us doing something. So it does affect.
Well, it's going to be playing in San Francisco. You don't want to miss it, September 6th through the 16th at the Lorraine Hansberry Theater. Any final thoughts, Rick, before I let you go?
Well, rumor has it that it might be coming to Macla, which is down in San Jose, in October. So we're still negotiating, but we're going to bring the play down to San Jose. So hopefully people will catch it there.
And how, I mean, you guys are mostly LA-based, even though you're from the Mission, but how are you guys received up here in NorCal?
Oh, you know, we love coming up here. This is our hometown, and, you know, we played Berkeley, San Jose Rep, you know, in San Francisco, and it's our hometown. It's like when the Giants go and play, you know, down in LA, they come back home, that's their space. And so when we come back, it's like our space. So we love coming up here.
Well, thank you for coming back
Thank you,
on the show. Anytime
Yeah.
you're in town. Gracias. Maybe before you do Macla, you can stop by and we'll promote it again.
Oh, sounds good.
Gracias. Up next, you're on Comunidad del Valle. Little Joe y la familia. Stay with us.